Okay, so this is way later. You can see we got some fluffy rain. I believe it was summertime when I recorded the last segment, but here we are. Yeah, it's got a bad camshaft. The exhaust lobe is worn to the point where the valve is barely opening. It runs. It actually runs pretty smooth, but it sounds like it's under load all the time. It has no power. So we got ourselves a new camshaft, an actual Kohler part. We're going to be tearing the engine out and apart, and we are going to put a new camshaft in it. Okay, so a little backstory. I got the deck all back together and all the bearings changed. We've seen that on 150 videos, so I didn't videotape every second of it. But the machine, when I dragged it outside, when I drove it outside, it seemed to be lacking power. Like it had no guts. And the muffler, it sounded funny. It sounded like a plug muffler. Like it just didn't sound loud enough, or it sounded like it was bogging down, like it was under a load all the time. So I brought it back in. I did pull the valve cover off again, and I had a look, and what I found was the intake valve and everything was moving fine, but the exhaust valve was barely opening. Well, but it wasn't loose. Usually if you've got a bent push rod, the valve will barely move, the rocker, but also the push rod, a bent push rod will leave you so much gap that it'll be loose. But I don't have that issue. What I did find was a little tiny inspection plate on the side of the engine here, which is handy. And it's going to be extremely hard to get you guys in there. What you're going to see if I can get the tilt. There you go. So that shiny piece right there, that's the intake lobe on the camshaft. The exhaust lobe is down. Can you actually see it or not? Are you in a shadow? It's hard to see. Anyways, it's way down there. You can't see it on camera, but it's there, honest. And when I rolled the engine around using the flywheel at the top, I could see this. I could see a bump. It goes high and low. Okay, perfect. And then I rolled it, checking the bottom one, and there's almost no lobe left. So the camshaft, she's no good. Great. So, major repairs on this one. I found a place in the States. This case I used partstree.com, and I got this camshaft kit. It's 12.5 horse Kohler. This is the part number, the actual Kohler part number for this engine. The spec number, this engine. And there we go, shut the light off. It's a whole kit. Does not fit the 13 horse Kohler, different part number. I actually bought another tractor, an STX38, a little bit newer, the Motorsports edition, that however has a 13 horse Kohler in it, not the same camshaft. So now I have, yeah, this video is entitled The Third STX38. I then had a fourth I bought originally for parts. Not going to do it. I'll end up fixing that thing. And another one. That'll be 5. There's actually this one in the shop and 2 more out in the yard. Good grief. I guess that's what I do. Don't get me wrong, the STX38 is a great machine. I personally like the yellow decks better than the black decks, but whatever, they're a good machine. So I've already gone ahead and started taking stuff off. I've got the oil drained out. I've got the starter removed. Before I did that, I disconnected the negative battery cable to make sure that it didn't get any welding going on. I've already taken the 2 studs out of the muffler pipe that goes up into the cylinder head here. And I've taken the 4 bolts, 2 on this side, 2 on the other side that hold the engine in. I've disconnected the electric clutch. It's sitting over here. We're going to get into this because I'm going to adjust the air gap here. It's going to be the first one I've actually been able to get a camera anywhere near. I'll show you how to adjust the air gap on those electric clutches. So basically the engine's loose. I should be able to Yep. Engine is loosey-goosey. The only couple of things left. Well, I've got the C-clamp holding the clutch pedal down. That gave me it loosened off the drive belt so I could take the pulley off the engine. So that was handy. I might just get that out of the way. Well, what's left? We got a fuel line here. This plug. And the throttle cable. And then the engine should come out. I think what I end up doing is taking the air filter cover off. I'll take the dipstick out and I'll just set the engine up on the faceplate here. I'm not sure all of what I got to take out to get this camshaft replaced. I haven't taken one of these apart. We got to separate it right here at the crankcase halves. So looks like I'll have to take the shielding off. I'm not sure. Maybe we'll do that first. Maybe I'll go around it and see what I have to take off to separate the cases before I've got an engine rolling around on a bench. So we'll get you in the stand. I'll get some stuff gathered and we'll jump on that. So I went around it. There's nothing on there that bridges the upper and lower halves that I can't deal with. So I mean, we got to take the valve cover off anyways. We're gonna have to set the valves, but I'm just gonna lift it off. And I'll end up pushing the rest of the mower outside so I have my entire bench to work on. Because the workbench is small and full. Oh, there's little hooks for lifting it. If you had a crane. Let's see. Oh, something fell. No idea what that was. Oh, it's heavy. Here. And the carb is emptying itself all over the place. Oh, key. Key for the crankshaft. We'll just set that there. Alright, well, that's the cover. This sump is what's got to come off. We got our camshaft. What I'm going to do, and I'm going to throw that tractor out. I'll get that cleared off. It's been dripping snow and pine needles all over it, so I'm going to get the bench cleared, the hoist cleaned off. Let's see if I got some cardboard or something laid down. I might. Well, here we are. I said clean the bench, but it was relative to the amount of dirt that was on it, so it's relatively clean. For those of you who have never done this, change cam on a Kohler, that makes, well, all of us, because I don't know what I'm doing either. I'm just winging it. Let's get some bolts out. We're just going to take stuff off till I can see a camshaft. Oh, stay in your place. This has got some orange-red silicone on it. I'm not sure if it's factory or not, if it's been apart or not. If you guys know, let me know in the comments. I would think that over all these years it's been apart before, but who knows? Well, that's all of them. There are long ones and short ones and different flavored ones. It should be all of them. Yep, looks like all of them. See if we can get crack that sucker loose. Let me get a mallet. A mallet beating stick. Sounding looser. There we go, it's moving. It's coming over the seal now. This seal. Should be a bearing in there too. Well, there's a bunch of silicone in there. I don't want to drop all kinds of crap in there. I also don't want oil all over my table. I just cleaned it relatively. I had cardboard, I just forgot to get it. Pizza box. That works. Okay, so the cover is sitting there nice and nonchalantly. What are we looking at? A mess. Yeah, I'm not sure if this is factory silicone or what the deal is, but there's quite a bit of it, and judging by the look of the gasket surface, it looks like somebody's run one of those Scotch-Brite wheels all over the place. So I'm gonna hazard a guess that it's not original silicone. It's been off before. That's okay, we're gonna replace it all. But what I'm seeing is camshaft right here. There's a shim here. I'm sure there's a special way to check to make sure that all this is lined up the way it's supposed to line up and that it's shimmed properly. I did, I know I looked without you guys, but I did check, and the cam kit does have a bunch of shims in it, so I'm sure it's a shim to fit. I don't know, like I said, I'm winging it. It's an engine, it's a one-cylinder engine. How hard can it be? Well, I guess I should pull the valve cover off. I thought it was going to be a little more elaborate than that, but I guess not. What I'll do is I'll turn it so marks line up. So marks here for the cam, this dot here, and there's a couple of dots on this crank sprocket. This one here, you can't see it from your angle, it's right across from it. There's another pair of dots here that are likely going to line up with that one. So let's get that spinned around. Probably would have been easier, better. Put the spark plug out. Let's do that. I don't remember the size. .5/8 it is. We're gonna try it. I think it is. It's a little plug in this one. Yep. Plugs out. Sooty. It was new. I don't want anything to lift out and move and jump ship anywhere. Holy. You know what? It's sitting on the screen. It might be giving us some interference. I really don't want to put pliers on there, but I guess I got the choice. So I'll temper their teeth with this rag. Use some channel locks to turn it. Yeah, things are moving. Not the way I want. I want to go the other way. It's just closer. Come on. Doesn't want to bite. Where's that keyway? There it is. I can get the rag to stick in the keyway. There we are. Just so I know where I'm starting. All the marks do line up. It's a good thing. I mean, it's been apart, so let's check it. The dot, where are you looking? Maybe I can zoom you in a little bit anyway. That's far enough. So this dot here lines up with a couple of little dots on the crank. And it's hard to see for you guys, but there's a dot here lines up with a couple of dots on the crank there. But that's that. I got a fish angle or a wide angle lens coming. I've already ordered it. It's not here yet. So there's a shim. Not sure the thickness. We're not going to mess with it yet. These shims will determine the end play on the crank or the camshaft. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pop this valve cover off real quick. That way you can loosen off the valves. Off. No, I'm not loosening off the valves, are hydraulic. So, what do we gotta do? I wanna pull the cylinder head off. Huh. My lifters are pumping up. Oh, it's getting warm in here. Alright, let me figure it out. Not sure what I'm doing here. Might actually have to look at a manual. Ew. Okay, so being the flat rate mechanic that I have been for so many years, I found an easy way to do it. I rolled the piston down so it was out of away from the top of the bore, and I just used a pair of pliers, basically, channel locks, and I twisted the rockers down far enough that the push rods actually fell out. So I did that one by one, and I put them in order the way they came out. So now we've got nothing really holding our camshaft in. So now we should be able to wiggle this out, I would think. Well, let me get a rag down. Let me put something down. Oh, gee. Oh, there we go. You'll just be able to give her a pull and a wiggle and it should come out. I'm hoping nothing else is going to give me grief. And it looks like, well, there's our camshaft. Yep, sure enough, that lobe is worn. These are lifters. I'm just going to push the lifters up into their bores a little bit so they don't interfere with anything. Actually, I'll probably take it out and have a look. Jesus, that looks like a small block Chevy one. Actually, it looks very close to a small block Chevy lifter. Huh. It might actually be. I don't know. Let's check the bottom one. They are so close to the small block. Huh. Not what I expected. I've never had one of these apart. Yeah, well. Huh. Interesting. Okay. Let me get you in on that cam ladder. Well, let's not lose that shim. So, okay. There's our lobe for the intake valve. See how nice and high that is? The lobe for the exhaust valve is over here. There's almost no lift on it. Right. Oh, you're not looking there. There's almost no lift on it. It's worn right out. So that'll definitely cause an issue. There's our automatic decompression lever. So when the engine is well, stationary right now, but if it was spinning slow, like say the speed of the starter, this little bump will kick the valve open just a hair to relieve some of the compression when it's cranking. When the engine fires, this rotates out of the way and the lifter rides completely on the lobe and it doesn't get bumped up to drop compression. Makes the start easier. Okay, there's the camshaft out. There's a little bit of wear on the bottom of the lifter, but I'm not overly concerned. I just about pushed it up through the engine though. That would have me concerned. Yeah. Okay, so that's that. Now I'm gonna open up that fresh camshaft, read the instructions to see if it actually tells me how to do it, how to check it for that shim. I hope it does. Otherwise I got some interneting to do and find the actual manual. So stand by. I'll let you guys know what I figure out. Alright, here's where we're at. New camshaft's in. This is the old shim. There's a special tool to use, and it basically bolts across here and gives you a flat area to pull the cam against, or to measure against. So all I got is a straight edge, a clean straight edge, a relatively straight edge, and feeler blades. And that's what you're supposed to use, but feeler blades and a tool. But all I'm going to do is I'll throw this shim on there, see what happens. It's one of the small ones, one of the thin ones from the pack. They give me an assortment. So our spec is 3 to 5 thou. So I'm just going to hold this across the crankcase, which is a good reason not to use those cookies on these things, because those cookies remove enough metal it can actually change things. So there's our 3 thou, it's loose. 5 thou is loose, so that shim is too small. Try this shim. Do her again. 3 is too small. Those are both too loose. Well, let's put the old one in there. See what happens. This is the one that came out of it. Make sure there's no junk underneath it. 3 thou slides. It's got some tension on it. Actually, that's perfect tension. Perfect tension on 3. A tad loose. So maybe it might be 4 thou. 5 thou is too tight. But you know what? The original shim is the one I'm going with. I'm guessing by feel it'd be about 4 thou, which is perfect. So let's get that out of there. Let's get some of the crap off it again. Might be a little dirt and stuff from me playing with it. But that's that. We're going to pop that shim back down. Get a little engine oil in there. Because the snout of that cam is where the crank bearing runs. So is this one. Actually, seal rides on this. And the bearing rides down here. While we're in here, we're just going to look for things that are flying apart. Governor teeth look in good shape. It's moving, nice and free. Okay, at this point, what I'm going to do is just clean parts. I got to clean this surface. I got to flip that cover over and clean that surface. It's been sitting here bleeding away on the cardboard for a while. I don't want to lose the position of the bolts. It's not too terrible in there, but there's stringy silicone everywhere, so I'm just going to clean that stuff up and actually maybe find a torque spec on these bolts. Maybe. I'm going to name this thing the never-ending mower. Jeez. So, alright. The camera I was recording with messed up somehow. It's recording green. Everything's green, tinted green. So I can't deal with that. We got enough green sitting right there on the rack. So, back to the old camera. And I'm sitting there while I was trying to figure out what was wrong with the camera. The day got away from me, and yeah. So I'm looking at the tractor, I'm thinking, well, I've got the sump on, got everything torqued down, 216 inch-pounds on those cover bolts, which were all the same length, by the way. Got my silicone in there where that I needed to, and that's all ready to go. There's no oil in the engine, but I set it back down on the chassis, and I thought, well, after the issue with the camera, I thought, I might as well just paint the thing. It's got some scabby spots in the front here, under the engine, and down along the side here, and in the back, across the back is pretty scabby. So I've just started stripping it. So I'm going to fast forward through this, and we'll just get her stripped and sanded, wiped down, and yeah, we'll go from there. there we go. We got the color squirted on there. We got our unmasked. And now we're just going to let it sit and dry. Harden up a little for us. Doesn't look not too bad. Looks like it's a little light here on that fender. Whatever. But now that I painted that, now I have to paint the hood. So once this is dry, we'll kick it outside and I'll bring the hood in and sand it and paint it. And yeah, then I got to go around and do touch-ups like that heat shield down there. It's supposed to be black. I got green on it, so I'll just pop that off real quick. And I think it's just 2 bolts in the front. The shield will come off, and I'll just hit it with some black trim clad, and that'll sort that out. And then once all that's done, we can get once this dries, we'll get the engine in and get it running. Let's see if our fixed it. Alright, so it's dried up enough. I installed the engine. Got the 2 exhaust bolts tightened up. I got the 4 underneath. And I put the clutch and everything on there and I didn't even adjust it. So, I know I mentioned earlier in a video that I was gonna, but it was working. And I'm not gonna. Actually, I forgot. But anyways, let's see what happens. Let's give her a crank, see what happens. Give her some choke. Fuel is on. Got the key switch hanging down the back here so it's not in my way. Let's see. So it's running about 1800 RPM right now, and that's what we need to run it for 5 minutes. That'll break in the camshaft. It's been about 8 minutes now, so that cam is well broken in. Engine's nice and warm. Let's see what it sounds like. Nice. A new camshaft seems to run very, very well. Doesn't sound like the engine's under a load all the time. It's got oil pressure, otherwise the valve train would be clattering away. So my cheat worked, just kind of sneaking those push rods out. I didn't have to take the head off or anything. I just snuck the push rods out, snuck them back in. I don't see pools of oil anywhere. No gas on the ground, so I think it's doing all right. Did notice it's got an exhaust leak now. Where the muffler comes up, just underneath there, the muffler pipe comes up, there's a flange there that goes to the cylinder head, and it's got the gasket was tired when I put it back on. I thought I might chance it, but nah, it's leaking pretty good. We better change that eventually. I'll put one on order and I'll get it changed eventually. But I guess for now, I guess I better throw the seat back on. Yeah, and then I can do the hood, or I can do that in the spring, because I'm not going to sell this. This is winter time now. It's December. This won't be sold till the spring. I think maybe in the springtime I'll bring that hood in and do it. A little warmer outside, and that way it doesn't get a chance to get dirty and stained or anything over the winter. So yeah, well, not much left to do on it. Got to paint the deck. The deck's all done. All the bearings are good. The blades are sharpened and balanced. Just got to paint it. Hang it underneath. Paint the hood. That's it. That's boring stuff. This video is already, or this segment is already long enough. This is the second part. I don't need to make a third part of just assembling the thing, so I'm going to cut this video off here. So, thanks for joining me, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. The never-ending mower. So, don't forget to hit that like, thumbs up, subscribe if you wish, and if you do, don't forget to click that bell icon. It'll notify you when I upload new videos. I got a mess to clean up. Till the next one, guys. Thanks again, and take care.